This is Total Access at the NAB AFL Draft Combine in Canberra. Now, the 100 kids who are here have all got stories, and one of the more interesting ones is that of Ariel Steinberg, who about a year ago was playing gridiron in Canada. Robbie Durazio this week caught up with him.
Ariel, thanks for joining us on Total Access.
Thanks for having me, Robbie.
Now, obviously, it's been a big week for yourself. Tell us a little bit about it.
I know it's been really long and really challenging and full of new experiences, but I've loved every minute, so it's been great.
And there's a lot of other guys hoping to get drafted like yourself. Tell us a little bit about how you actually got to be here at this draft combine.
My story's probably a bit different than most of the other guys. It's been a pretty busy couple of years for myself, but last year I was in Canada on a teaching exchange. My parents are both teachers, so I was lucky enough to go over there for 12 months and go to school and do all those sorts of things. And then I came back this year and mid-January and started doing sort of half a pre-season with my local club, the Mildura Imperials, and then I sort of started playing first grade for them and having a really great time. And then I was lucky enough to play an interleague game in Horsham against Western Border. And then I got the call from Mark Ellis from the Bendigo Pioneers, and I've played 7 games since then. So I suppose that brings us to now, yeah.
And then you've got a lot of guys who have been in the system, basically since 12 years old. Do you think you're a disadvantage or an advantage to be where you're at now?
Oh, I think it's give and take. I mean, I wouldn't say disadvantage at all. I mean, I've had different experiences and benefited from them just like they have. So I mean, yeah, it's give and take, and just I wouldn't change the way I'd got here at all. So it's been good.
The AFL, the journos and the print always love a good X Factor sort of story, and you're going to be one of those if you do get drafted. Tell us a little about your time in Canada. You played gridiron? Yeah,
I played American football over there, not only for my local club, the Edmonton Chargers, but also for my high school, the McNally Tigers. So I mean, that was great, and that was a new experience, and it's sort of great how organised and structured it is, and how the whole school gets behind the football team is really great.
And can you bring that sort of game style to the Australian rules of football?
Well, I hope so. I mean, it's sort of their game's really quick and really powerful, so that's sort of been a couple of attributes that's added to my Aussie rules game. So I mean, yeah, hopefully I can continue that, yeah.
And has it been a dream to play AFL football since a young fella, or has he sort of just fallen into it?
No, it's always been the one for me, and it's sort of been a roundabout journey to get there. But I mean, it's that's always how it's been, and that's how it'll continue to be. So yeah.
And your favourite player and your favourite team, who do you follow?
Even though he's retired, still Matty Lloyd from Essendon, and Essendon on my team. So yeah, those two are just yeah.
So you would have enjoyed doing the clean hands test yesterday?
Oh, I was so nervous, I was a bit jittery, and Lloydie was kicking it to me, but I sort of just had to make sure I concentrated. Yeah, but it was a good experience.
Did you ask him, Lloyd, did you ever actually handball throughout a match or just kick?
Oh, I don't handball either, so I'd be the wrong person to ask, I reckon.
Errol, good luck in your draft prospects, and hopefully you have a great career.
No worries, thanks for having me, guys.
Draft prospect Ariel Steinberg talking to Robbie Durazio there. Kevin, where's he going to go?
Well, he'll go all right. Footballers can come from anywhere, whether it's Mildura or Canada. He's a great story. Speed, endurance, tested brilliantly. He's a goal kicker. I think he'll go a lot earlier than people think. I think he's a top 30 choice. Yeah. Just the stuff he's done has been quite exceptional for the Bendigo Pioneers, and we hadn't heard of him by the middle of the year, so he's bobbed up from nowhere.
Time to talk trade, guys, and Ben Broad, the AFL.com.au trade expert, now joins us. Ben, Carlton's going to be doing a fair bit of stuff in trade week, aren't they? Sam Jacobs, first of all.
That's right, yeah, Sam Jacobs, he's one we've known about for a few weeks. He wants to go to Adelaide. Carlton have threatened to maybe play hardball, but I think a deal will get done there.
What about Grigg? He's walked out.
Yeah, Grigg, he's one over the last 24 hours has signalled his intent. He's another one. Richmond have shown some interest. Gold Coast have been in the mix, but spoke to Francis Jackson earlier, and I think Richmond are pretty keen.
Okay. Andrew Walker, a high draft pick from some years ago, also has signalled intentions to leave. He's still contracted though, isn't he?
He is, yeah. If he's quite happy to stay, and Brett Ratton has said that he'll happily have him on board next year for all 22 games. But Adelaide, another one. Few clubs, I think, sniffing around, including the Western Bulldogs.
Just quickly, David Hale at North.
David Hale, another one who's contracted for 2 seasons, and Ricky Nixon, his manager, have said they've been quite open with North, happy to stay on board. Melbourne really quite interested. Hawthorn have also said they'd look at him. I think a club who's in the premiership window, maybe like St Kilda, would also be interested.
Sure.
We'll have to wait and see that.
It'll be a big trade week beginning on Tuesday, and on AFL.com.au there'll be a live streaming of Trade Week Radio with Craig Hutchison, Nathan Thompson, Wayne Schwartz, Terry Wallace, Robert Shaw and myself, bringing you 12 hours a day, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And you're looking very surprised there, Kevin. 12 hours a day of live streaming radio on afl.com.au. All the trade talk will be brought to you 12 hours a day, all the way through right to the end on Monday week. So beginning Tuesday, October 5, Trade Week Radio on afl.com.au. Now, Paul Daffy, we promised you'd be bringing your top 10 selections, predictions for the draft. Go for it.
All right, look, it's fairly safe, I reckon. There's 7 midfielders, 1 key forward, 2 ruckmen. A couple might slip out. The order will most likely change from what I've got there, but it should be.
Let's go to 4
right.
because we've said all week, Swallow, Benell, Day go to the Gold Coast. So let's go to 4. You reckon Gaff will go to West Coast at 4?
Yeah, I would have said maybe the Eagles might have been interested in Jack Darling, but Andrew Gaff he's probably looking about 5 or 6 before this week. But this week his testing has been so good and he's impressed so many people in his interviews as well that he might actually go at 4. And he could work the big space at Subiaco as he's testing his show with speed and endurance.
Do you like that top 10, Kev?
Pretty happy with that. You've done a fair bit of work, Paul. You've really been working like a recruiter and getting working undercover as well and picking up all the cues about it. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. I tell you, they can change their mind at the last minute, as we know with the famous Jared Roughhead Buddy Franklin decision where they changed their mind at breakfast on the day of the draft to go for the 2 taller guys. So they're not always locked away until the names are called.
There's plenty of time yet. There's plenty of time yet.
Of course. Don't have a cop out now, mate. What we've been trying to do all week on Total Access is put in context what these guys are being put through and how it relates to football, which could happen for them as early as next year. And we want to take a look at a couple of guys who did perform well in combines of past, and they're playing in a grand final tomorrow. Nick Revold, we see here, the number 1 pick in 2000. He's always going to be a star, wasn't he, Kevin? But just line up some of his results, if you can, please, with what's going on this week.
Well, the thing about his height is it hasn't changed. He's a 193 then, and he is that now. So that's 6'4" in the old. But look at the weight change. He was a skinny 81 kilo youngster that showed brilliant ability here. He's now 17 kilos heavier, but his speed and endurance combination was elite. He did a 2.92 right up in the top bracket and a 14 beep test. So they're the 2 critical things. The speed endurance, that's the Chris Judds of the world. Speed, endurance, they're very, very hard to stop when they do that. He was an elite player as well, and he'd made all Australian and under 18 level throughout that year. And he was, of course, from Queensland, from Southport. And
Ben, another bloke who we'll look at from a grand final perspective tomorrow is Dale Thomas, who went high, surprisingly high in some people's eyes at the time in the 2005 draft. Some of his results there are interesting to watch now.
Absolutely. 20-metre sprint, 2.93. That's pretty quick. He's always been had that pace, Daisy, playing on the wing. Beat test 12.11. Might have expected him to maybe be maybe a little bit better than that, but he has always had pretty good endurance. And look, not hard to see, I guess, why he went number 2. He's always been an exciting player.
We could have a look at these pictures we're about to see now with Daisy Thomas at the Combine from 2005. The hair's pretty much the same, Kev. The body's got a bit bigger.
Yeah, and he's come off a best on the ground on the MCG and the TAC Cup final, playing for Gippsland Power. So that was on the Saturday, and by Tuesday he's up here at the Draft Combine showing his great athletic ability, and I think he rocketed into a top 10 choice, even a choice 2, with those 2 things put together, the playing ability on the big stage, and then was able to handle it up here athletically with some brilliant sprint and agility times, and Collingwood chose very, very wisely.
And the key dates now, Kevin, now that the Combine has come to a close, what are they?
Well, the key date right now is the 5th of November. Get your registrations in, boys, and it's not just the guys that are here, but if you're playing in state leagues around Australia, you're eligible to nominate. You nominate online, then print, sign and send it in through the mail, so there's quite a process there, and your nomination will be confirmed. We have normally 2,000 nominations. A lot of people try for the chance to be drafted, and then draft date 18th of November. That'll be up on the Gold Coast, and then of course the repechage, if you like, is the 7th of December, the pre-season draft and the rookie draft on that day.
Well, it brings to a close the Total Access programming for the week. Kevin Sheehan, thank you for joining us.
A pleasure, Damien. I've loved it, and I've loved the way it's been covered so thoroughly.
And Paul Duffy, likewise.
Good on you, Damien. Thanks for having me.
Ben Broad for the Trade Talk. Thank you.
No worries, Damien.
This has been Total Access coming to you from the AIS in Canberra for the NAB AFL Draft Combine. And as we do close, afl.com.au is where you'll get all your drafting and trade news. The Footy Channel on Big Pond TV also. This has been Total Access at the NAB AFL Draft Combine.